This is Kate Baconsale. You're listening to Baconsale.
My loneliness is killing me, and I must rewatch my DVDs and Blu-rays. Replaying some films mess with my mind. Can't watch them twice. Watch these, baby, just one time.
Hey! Whoa! Is that Ken or Britney Spears in the room? I can't tell.
Hey, no one really knows if Britney Spears is really singing anyways. It could have been me singing her original songs.
Can't you know that intro? You did it again.
Come to think of it, I've never seen Kent and Britney Spears in the same room.
We have. Oh, I was about to say something mean about we have the same body type, but I said it anyways.
Welcome to Baconsale. I'm Joel.
I'm Kent.
And I'm Zack.
We'd like to thank you for listening to our last show, our schoolyard pick of annoying animated movies.
Oh, boy. We did it again.
Man, it was fun because, it was soul breaking, but it was fun to kind of have to talk good about those movies. And
we made it about halfway through the show
before it really got painful.
Just gave up.
That back half was real bad.
It was so bad. And Zach, how are you enjoying watching only those movies and only those movies from my list?
You guys are not my favorite right now.
Happy feet for life.
But people seem to enjoy it. We had, for example, Sam Ma, listener emeritus, who said, "Finish today's episode. I love this format for a show.
Hey.
At its heart, it's just a ranking show, but picking a team's twist gives it an entirely new flavor. Love it. Can't wait to see this used on other topics."
All right.
And we had people mention other topics that we could use it for, including Nolan movies, for example.
I think the big one is 80s action movies. I think that's going to be fun.
Someone said Star Wars movies.
Which we could. That was Jeff P. Skywalker.
Yeah.
Because you could put
He's a bit obsessed with Star Wars.
You can put Skywalker after your name now. It's cool. Anyone can call themselves a Skywalker.
You could just meet someone on the street and ask them their last name.
Skywalker.
Exactly.
I'm taking this name now.
But no, that's kind of the point.
No legal papers required.
We would like to continue this, and it could be with characters, could be with film franchises, singular movies, you name it.
And then, guys, we also got a comment from the listener, capital L, the
What?
listener.
Oh,
the overdue listener, Spencer, who said, "That episode was weird, but a good kind of weird."
How many times
Thank
Kent's
you.
heard that?
A lot.
Every time he kisses a girl.
Not a lot lately, then.
So yeah, thank you for listening. We did that episode with a plan of doing more like that in the future.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're always up for suggestions, and we like trying new things. And you can always submit an idea, and we can put it on our list that we have.
Please do.
Yeah. But that's not what we're talking about today. What are we talking about today, Zach?
We are going to get a little intense today. We're going to swing the other way, and we're talking movies that you've seen, and you appreciate that you've seen, but you don't really want to watch again.
So it's kind of the same because those animated movies I would never want to watch again.
But
Yes, but you don't
in the first place.
Yeah, you
Right.
have to appreciate them or enjoy them, or you had a good experience or something, but you just don't want to have it again.
So we've talked about this a lot on shows, maybe when we do a movie review Bacon Bit, where we're like, this is such a good film, I never need to see this again because I kind of got the whole picture.
Yeah.
Maybe there's nothing more to discover. It told its story, and maybe it crushed your soul a little bit.
Yeah.
And you're like, I'm good.
Yeah, because you can appreciate something. Like, for example, years ago, I did a high adventure hike with Boy Scouts through the Grand Tetons.
Sounds awful, sure.
And it was one of those things where I was like, I don't want to do this. And my scout leader said, look, you can try it. You can do it. And then if you don't like it, you can, next time someone asks you to do it, you can be like, I've tried it. I don't want to do it again.
Yeah.
And so I went on the hike. It was this 5-day hike up through the Tetons. It was beautiful and horrible. And I got to, we like canoed down the Snake River and all this stuff. It was all very cool. And I'm so glad I did it and I accomplished that. But I'm like, yeah, I'm good. I don't want to do that ever again.
Yeah.
And so I
you never
appreciated
will.
it. I may get suckered into it sometime, but I hope to never have to get suckered
It's
into
like
it.
skydiving as well, right? Like where you're like,
never done
what a thrill that would be because I'll never do it. And you're like, oh man, I felt so free, and then I'll never do it again because you could die.
So the pendulum will probably shift a little bit because last time it was exclusively children's films. These are not children's films.
Mostly quite serious.
Speak for yourself.
Really? Interesting.
Huh.
So each of us have 5 movies that we're going to talk about that we watched once. We appreciated them. We may even recommend that you watch them.
Yeah. Can you recommend
once.
all of yours?
I would recommend mine for certain people, for certain audiences. Yes, because I think the thing here is it's not movies that you watched once and don't want to watch again because you didn't like them. It's movies that you did appreciate.
So I'd only recommend one of mine.
Really?
Only one of the 5. We're doing 5 each, by the way.
This is going to be interesting, Ken.
This is where the film snob in Kent comes out.
Oh, wow.
Where I go, I've seen this movie and I can handle it, but I'm not sure the general public could.
Well, see, and I should
It's
have
that laugh exactly.
I had a bunch. Like we may do another one like this down the road because I had so many that I could have mentioned
too.
from film class days where they're like, this movie is a high art film from this high art director. It's cinema at its finest, and if you watch it, you will be a better person.
8.5.
And then you watch, I hate 8.5.
Yep,
but there were ones I actually liked. I was like, wow, that was really cool. Glad
One time.
Yeah, now I can speak in those circles of snobby film friends, but I'm never going to see that again.
All right, I'm really interested to see. And this is kind of a taste-based show. There were some where I almost did a softball, and I'm like, well, this is kind of a comedy, and people will like it, and they won't think I'm so dark. I went full dark on this one.
That's what I'm here for.
Okay, so Zach, would you get us started with your first pick?
Oh, my first one's super dark.
Okay.
Oh, great.
Wait.
It's the darkest one
go
on my
on.
list.
Comedy.
All right. From
Segue.
From 1995, directed by David Fincher. It's Seven. Two detectives.
Wait, we're starting
Hey,
off with
kids.
7.
Hope you enjoyed the last episode.
Oh, man.
Two detectives, a rookie and a veteran, hunt a serial killer who uses the 7 deadly sins as his motives, starring Morgan Freeman, Brad Pitt, and Kevin Spacey. This is a movie that is talked about a lot. It's referenced a lot.
Because it is so well done.
It's well made.
Morgan Freeman, Brad Pitt, Gwyneth Paltrow.
The box.
The what's in the box?
Are we giving spoilers on this?
Maybe not for this one.
I
This
will
is
give
pretty
spoilers
bad.
on a few
let's
of
not
mine that I
spoil.
don't recommend.
No, don't spoil.
Why can't I remember his name? Who's the guy who always replaces Kevin Spacey?
Oh, it's
Christopher Plummer.
Christopher Plummer.
Thank you.
You're so close.
I could not remember his
I
name.
avoided the easy Christopher Plummer joke this time.
Yeah, and
Just
Joel
so you know.
stumbled over it.
Terrible. But it's an amazingly made movie. It's an upsetting movie.
When
It's a
did you
grotesque
see this movie?
I saw it when I was in my early 20s.
Oh, so that's a perfect time to see a movie
Yes.
like this.
Yeah.
In fact, it's one where you're like, you see it and you're like, David Fincher's amazing. I'm going to buy the
Yeah.
poster and buy the DVD.
Yeah.
So why don't you want to watch it again?
It just hit me in a way that it gives me the little creepy crawlies, and I'm like, I'm good.
I'm
good.
a couple personal experiences with this movie.
Go on.
My first encounter with this movie was actually on my mission, where I had
Zach took a drink, almost did a spit take.
I served a mission for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, and you don't watch movies as a missionary.
Right.
Joel, that was terrible.
I know, but I didn't watch a movie. But we were doing like this division one time where we were in this other elders area, this other missionaries area, and we were just chatting at night. And one of the guys, I'd been out a while, I hadn't heard of it, and I hadn't seen it, and he's like, "Have you heard of this movie Seven?" And I was like, "No, tell me about it. I love hearing about movies."
Oh, no.
And he proceeded to tell me the entire plot.
Because it's based on biblical themes.
Yeah,
Sure.
Let's just fight
7
that
deadly
way.
sins.
But he told me the entire thing, and I remember I got to the end, and I was like, "Oh no!" Like I had trouble sleeping that night, but I was
Based on the
fascinated.
description alone.
Yeah, just by the description, and I was fascinated by the concept. And then when I got home and actually saw it, it was amazing. But I'm gonna agree with Zach here, except for the fact that I do want to watch this one again, and I do recommend it to people because it is a mind bender. But like, for example, I have my kids' horror movie training where I have like 4 phases of horror movie training for my kids. So phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, phase 4. This movie is phase 5, which is, look, I'm probably not going to show this to my own children.
But once they make their own decisions,
Yeah,
if they want to make
decide
it,
to
we'll
watch
talk about it.
I won't show you, but I may recommend it.
Yeah, if you watch it over at your house, I'll watch it at my house. We're both grown adults. Then we'll talk
I have
about
my
it.
10-year-old watch this all the time.
That explains so much.
No wonder she hates the troll
That's
sequel.
why she shaves off her fingerprints.
What a good choice, though, because
Yeah.
in a lot of these, it's so reliant on the twist. And I'm not saying this movie is good because of the twist.
No.
But when whatever happens at the end, it makes this movie irreversible. Like you can't watch it and watch certain scenes and go, oh, everything's going to be fine. And so the twist is because like the killer comes right out and says it when it needs to, but it's other stuff that happens where you're like, I feel so hopeless.
Well, also, this movie does an amazing thing where it doesn't show you the murders. It's the police walking into the scene.
It's the
and
result.
They talk about what happened, and that makes it almost more horrifying because it's all in your head.
If this movie came out today with everyone who loves true crime
crime.
podcasts and
yeah.
everything, this would be the biggest movie of all time.
I would.
Zach, that is a fantastic choice.
Thank you. That'll be my only good choice.
That one moment where the guy woke up.
Oh.
With the pine sol.
Yeah, I would imagine if I do watch this again, I'm still a decade away.
I think I watched this one. I've seen it maybe 2 times, strictly for the performances. Because some of
They're
these
so
movies,
good.
the performances are already great, but you're like, I could watch that again based on how great Brad Pitt and Morgan Freeman were together.
Well, and one of my first classes ever at BYU was a film class. And this is like, I'm a brand new BYU student. I walk into the room, sit down, and they say, okay, we're going to show you a clip. And they show us the opening credits of Seven.
By the way, they're not editing movies in film class there, are they?
No, they
Okay.
they tell you before, like, if you're not comfortable with this, we can show you. You can watch an alternate movie, but we're just going to watch this. But it was just the opening credits. But I remember sitting there, and those opening credits are like, they don't show anything.
Nope.
But it's so creepy. And the whole point was like how you can use these abstract images to create a feel, and how the music and everything creates a feel. But I remember sitting down and being like, this is not how I expected BYU to be. Huh.
I think it'd be like, yeah, BYU, cool. That's awesome.
Yeah. So Seven's a great choice.
It is a great choice.
Thank you.
One and done.
What do you
my,
got, Ken?
My first choice is Requiem for a Dream from
Oh,
the year
boy.
2000.
This is going to be a dark show.
I'm
isn't it?
starting with Requiem for a Dream, guys.
Oh my gosh.
So the drug-induced utopias of 4 Coney Island people are shattered when their addictions run deep. This one stars Ellen Burstyn, Jared Leto, Jennifer Connelly, and Marlon Wayans. Everyone has their own addiction story. Jared Leto and Marlon Wayans are generally together most of the time.
Marlon Wayans is hilarious in this movie.
It's weird because you see this movie and you're like, is this the guy from Scary Movie and the Wayans brothers? But he's so good in the movie. You get sad about this missed potential that he has. Everyone in this movie is great, but it's so hard to watch this movie. I would say there's one draw to this film, and it's the score.
That
score is fantastic.
But even then, it was Requiem for a Dream is great.
Yes.
But what was the one with the choir? It's like Requiem for the one they made for Lord of the Rings.
Lux Eterna.
Yeah, but Lux Eterna is the
It's
song.
the main song.
But they call it Requiem for a something. I can't remember what it is right now.
Yeah, they've used this in so many trailers, and it's the most epic music. And honestly, the music is playing when these guys are transporting like a fridge across Coney Island. And you're like, this doesn't fit, but the movie is so grim. So this is directed by Darren Aronofsky, who is the director of one and done movies. He did The Wrestler, Black Swan, Noah, and The Fountain.
That's true. That's
all
true.
movies you should only ever watch once, unless you want to somehow understand The Fountain, then good luck. This one is utterly devastating, but I could not take my eyes off the screen. I could probably mention this movie on several shows. Number one being if we ever have an after-school special show or movies that should be shown to your children. And this is weird because this movie is so dark, but every teenager needs to see this movie.
It will scare them
I
straight.
will say maybe cut out some of the sexual content because it gets really awful. But as far as everything else, the drug trips and what these people do to themselves, it needs to be seen because it's the most anti-drug movie I've ever seen.
Requiem for a Tower, by the way.
Is that what? Okay, that's what they
use
use for the trailer
Yeah.
for Lord of the Rings. Okay. But it's, like I said, the score is inspired, but the movie is a bleak, relentless, and hard watch. It's worth it, though. It grabs you. Doesn't let you go till the end. And then when you get to the end, you go, I'm going to take 3 showers, scrub off a lot.
I'm feeling a lot of things right now.
But the like I said, the performances are great, but really the heaviness of this movie should only be experienced once, and you'll just get it.
I hope the ending 8-bit track is Lux Eterna on 8-bit.
Oh, I'll find it. Absolutely. Nice. All right, Joel, what's yours?
Wow, you guys both went with these big, epic, popular movies, and I chose,
Popular?
Well,
Requiem for a Dream?
well known.
Okay,
well known.
sure.
known.
Yes.
And I went for kind of a sleeper horror hit on my first
Okay,
one.
tell me.
2007 Spanish film, The Orphanage.
Oh, yeah. Great movie.
Okay.
So
One-time watch, huh? Okay, what's it about?
So, synopsis. A woman brings her family back to her childhood home, which used to be an orphanage for disabled children. Before long, her son starts to communicate with an invisible new friend. And this was directed by Jay Bayona, who did Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom and The Impossible.
Yes.
Which is a kind of a weird mix if you think about it.
Yeah.
Fallen Kingdom being this weird
I don't like
action
either one of those
sequel,
movies.
And The Impossible
You don't like The
being
Impossible?
the heart.
Which one's The Impossible?
It's with the
Tsunami movie.
Oh,
with Ewan McGregor.
I quite like it.
Oh no, that's a good. Oh no, I don't like.
It's-
how I
it's a
feel
movie
from that
that makes
movie,
me
but it's a
cry.
good movie.
We talked about
that's
that.
a one and done.
We talked about that in our
Movies that make men cry.
Yeah, tearjerker episode.
Yeah, that's it. Mm.
It is rated R. The Orphanage is for some disturbing content. Clearplay DVD does have it. I don't know if that's your thing. And it stars a bunch of Spanish actors, and it's in the Spanish language. It's a subtitled horror film. This movie was creepy, scary, intense, depressing, and disturbing. And it's in Spanish. That's why I won't watch it again, because it's in Spanish.
Subtitles.
No, this film opened at the Cannes Film Festival in 2007, and it received a standing ovation lasting 10 minutes.
What?
I don't imagine applauding any movie for 10 minutes, but this one is so well done because it pulls you in, and it's this standard horror movie type
Yes.
fare where like there's this little creepy kid who wears a burlap sack over his face and he appears every now and then and it's like, oh, it's so creepy. What's going on?
What's the mystery?
And then it takes this twist where it gets really intense. Like I was worried about, like legitimately worried about the characters in the movie. Like, are they okay? And then it just, the bottom drops and it is depressing. Like drag your heart through the mud depressing. And I got through with this movie and I remember just sitting there in the dark going, well, I don't want to move.
So you've never revisited this movie?
Nor do I think I will.
Because this to me has the experience where you see the end and you're like, oh, okay. And so when you rewatch it, you
Okay, if you have that tone when you see the end, you've got issues.
wait
Okay.
for the rest of my list.
I've got to rewind it.
But then you see, how could this all fit together? And does it fit together without any plot holes? And I feel like that's the kind of movie that may require a little more discovery.
I'll assume there's no plot holes. I'm good. I'm
It
good.
is-
I cried during a horror movie,
It's
Kent.
devastating.
That is not normal for me. And I cried during a horror movie. This was a hard watch for me.
So you wouldn't even watch this one with your wife, for example, who's
No! Especially not.
someone that needs to discover a great movie like this.
Well, this is a very well done movie. It's not a horror movie that I prop up there as one of the greatest horror movies of all time.
Right.
But it was such a fascinating thing to watch this Spanish horror movie with Spanish influences and just not know what was going to happen. It was so well written.
Yeah.
But it deals with like children and orphanages and terrible things happening, and it was so disturbing. Not
Yeah.
like in your face like Saw type disturbing, nothing like that. It is almost all psychological horror, and there's no actual I don't even think there's maybe a little blood, but that's it. So this isn't like anything torturous or anything like that, but just
You kind
the
of more
idea.
so wallow in misery.
Yes.
Yes.
Wallow would be a good word. So I saw it and I was like, wow, that was well done. And never want to see it again.
Did
I
it
don't wanna go
linger?
through it again.
Did it linger with you after?
Yes. In fact, to this day, I went and read the synopsis again, and I got that feeling in the pit of my stomach, like, oh, stay away, stay away.
Yep.
Wow.
So yeah, there you go. The Orphanage.
Nice. My next movie comes from 2008. It is Doubt. A Catholic school principal questions a priest's ambiguous relationship with a troubled young student.
Happy, happy, joy, joy, happy,
Yeah.
happy, joy, joy.
Yep.
I did not know this episode was going to get so dark so quick.
Wow.
Going to continue too.
Directed
So-
by John Patrick Shanley, starring Meryl Streep, Amy Adams, and Philip Seymour Hoffman.
It was up for Academy Award, right?
Yes. Amy Adams was nominated, I believe.
Yeah.
Meryl
Well,
Streep
she's
may have
always
won.
nominated, never win.
She's the new Leo.
No, I think Meryl Streep has that contract where she has to be nominated no matter what she appears in.
Yeah, that's
why she
true.
got nominated for. No, wait, that was Glenn Close in 101 nominations.
Same thing.
I think Mamma Mia 2, when she
got
appears for
nominated.
like 10
Yeah,
seconds.
she got nominated for that.
Yeah, this is a movie that I watched when it came out, and
Based off of a stage play,
it's based
right?
off of a play from 2004.
Okay.
And it's a well-done
It's
adaptation.
a musical comedy on stage, right?
Definitely, yeah. I have a doubt.
Write that, Zach.
It's kind of catchy.
But it's a movie that's, again, super well acted, very compelling. I like good stage plays turned into movies. But honestly, for me, and this is getting deep and dark, but Baconsale, it kind of preys on a fear of mine of am I going to have any relationships that are seen with doubt, or am I going to have judgment cast upon me if I don't mind all my P's and Q's or whatever? And so I try to be very careful in life, and this just kind of hit a very raw place for me. And the way it ends is very ambiguous, and it's a very enjoyable watch. Never want to see it again.
The dialogue in this one is really masterful.
Very.
Like watching these actors just play together is, it's not fun to watch, but it's great to watch.
Yeah.
But then you just want to be detached from it all.
Yes, I want to be removed, but they are so talented that they bring you in, and like I don't want to be there.
Talented? I doubt it.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for the dead
Trying to
jokes.
bring levity.
Lighten the mood.
Levity.
Oh my gosh. But anyway, I think it's a really well acted movie that I don't. I would recommend it. I really would, but not again.
Okay.
I need to lighten the mood, so I'm going to change my order
Thank
a
you.
little bit because my next one is going to be real heavy.
My next one's a little lighter.
What are you guys doing?
I don't know, and I'm sorry.
My next three are actually not bad.
Okay. My next one is from 2006, and it's Borat.
I get it.
Good?
I get it.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
So if you don't know the plot synopsis, you don't really need to know, but I'll tell you
there's
the
a
plot.
Borat.
Kazakh TV head Borat is dispatched to the United States to report on the greatest country in the world. With a documentary crew in tow, Borat becomes more interested in locating and marrying Pamela Anderson. So this one's directed by Larry Charles. He's done Seinfeld and Curb Your Enthusiasm. Sacha Baron Cohen, of course, playing one of his roles that he originated on The Ali G Show.
Yeah.
He came out with Borat and Bruno, and I never really watched the Ali G Show back in the day. I watched it after I saw Borat.
Okay.
And so I walked into this movie 2006, and remember, I'm 25 at this point, ready for some raunchy comedy, and boy, did I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw this one in the theater, and I kind of knew the character was meant to make fun of people he was interviewing, and they do it so well in this movie. This is a guilty pleasure that I've only seen one time because, and here's the reason this is a one-time watch. I loved this movie. I was laughing more than I can ever remember in any
so
movie.
Uncomfortable.
That, and I don't want to ruin the experience of how much fun I had during this movie at home. Because when you're with a group of people that are all laughing at the same thing, I was like, yes, we're all enjoying this. If I watch this at home, I'd say, that's annoying. Yeah. That's gross.
Yep.
Why did I ever like this movie? So I don't want to taint that one experience I had from Borat. And truthfully,
You want to take your perfect experience with Borat.
somehow it's just so wrong. It really is. And it feels like you're watching like a reality TV show. Because when you watch reality TV, you're like, I'll never need to watch this again. And that's the kind of feeling Borat has. It's so unbelievable. But once you've seen it, the magic is gone. Doesn't need to be revisited at all. The satire alone is probably worth a rewatch. But if you remove the satire, it's just crude humor and shocking moments.
So very few movies do I feel are affected by editing, by filtering, by clear play vigil, things like that. This is one of the few where I feel like I did not get the full Borat experience.
You didn't,
because certain parts were just gone. And I feel
that's okay,
right,
for a lot of it.
No, that's because I laughed. There were parts I laughed, but I remember being like, "Man, there was I remember watching it and being like, I don't get why people like this so much. Like, yeah, it was fine." And I went through and read the synopsis, and I was like, "Oh yeah, that part was gone." Well, that part was gone, but I do feel like a lot of the humor was shock humor, being like,
yes.
I can't believe he would say that to this person, or that he would do this in this circumstance, or that they're wearing as little clothing as they are.
So a lot of this was obviously planned. Like everything he did, a lot of the Pamela Anderson moments or a lot of the grosser moments were just filmed like a narrative movie.
Right.
But the mastercraft that Sacha Baron Cohen has, and I can't believe I'm saying that, he knows how to...
Presently.
Has.
Okay.
He's still good at it. He
He's
has
the
another
king
show.
of cringe.
He knows how to get people to say all the wrong things.
Okay.
And
Yes.
he can keep playing on it. It's not just a one joke where he's like, look at this guy, he's really racist. He can be like, no, we're going to get to know this guy, and he's going to say more embarrassing things, and I'm going to look so good coming off of this. Because Borat is meant to be a racist character.
Oh, he's terrible. Yeah.
But he's able to make everyone else look racist somehow. The satire is
That is
great.
such a Samantha thing to say.
But I will never rewatch this movie, mostly because I saw Bruno, and I think
I just did a Bruno quote from the trailer.
yeah, exactly.
Sorry.
I feel like my Bruno experience wasn't that. I didn't enjoy it very much because I think I aged out of it, and so I don't want to age out of Borat.
Okay.
See, so you saw it in a theater with a lot of people?
Yes.
I saw it almost the exact opposite way, but it was still a fantastic theater experience because it was just me, 3 of my friends, and 1 other person
In the
theater. I was in high school. Like,
Oh, yeah.
It was like the 4 of us were just guffawing.
Skipping
Like
school
we were
and going there?
No, what? No. But yeah, we were just like, we had the place to ourselves. We were just being obnoxious and enjoying it, and it was a fun experience that I wouldn't have again. So.
Yeah, I could still consider a great comedy, but I want to keep it in that realm, and I don't want to revisit to ruin it.
Good choice.
Wow. Once again, I feel like you guys are picking these like well-known movies, and I'm going a little hipster again.
That's what you
Joel
do.
is
You're
the
a
hipster of Baconsale.
That's what everyone says.
I'm super mainstream, apparently.
Mine stars Ryan Reynolds, and it came out in 2010.
Oh,
The Voices?
Buried.
Yes.
So Buried.
What?
Oh, what
Yeah.
a stressful movie.
So Buried. Here's the synopsis. Paul is a U.S. truck driver working in Iraq. After an attack by a group of Iraqis, he wakes to find he is buried alive inside a coffin. With only a lighter and a cell phone, it's a race against time to escape this claustrophobic death trap. This is rated R for language and violent content. It is on ClearPlay DVD if you have that. So 95-minute movie, one setting. The entire movie takes place. I'm pretty sure the entire movie takes place inside a coffin.
Yes.
So I'm trying to remember if there's any. There's a part where it's kind of a flashback, but I don't want to spoil anything.
They should have called this movie Grave Danger.
Sorry. So this is a different type of horror movie because it's not really a horror movie. It's more of a drama. And it's Ryan Reynolds and a voice on the phone. And he has BlackBerry in with him. So the kidnappers call him.
It says he aged well.
Yeah. Kidnappers call him, and like he's able to call a couple other people. Like he's just trying to find help and trying to get out of there. And they have a way of kind of upping the stakes.
Yes.
As the movie goes along, even though it all takes place in one setting.
And it's good Ryan Reynolds. Even though it's a Ryan Reynolds show.
It's dramatic Ryan Reynolds. It's not Ryan Reynolds trying to be cocky funny. It's him just playing drama. And the reason I wouldn't watch it again, I really didn't buy the CGI super suit. I thought it was not well done. No, but the thing is, I was intrigued by this movie because it was an experiment in film.
Yes.
One setting, very small. It's not like they can walk around the room. He's literally laying down inside a coffin. He can't even like turn around.
Yeah.
And yet you're entertained the entire time.
There are some movies that pull that off really well. They're never great films, but ones that make you excited, or like Phone Booth, for example.
Yeah, Phone Booth is a good one.
What about Locke?
Oh, Locke as well.
Locke does it
with
is
Tom
the
Hardy.
best one.
I don't know if I've seen Locke.
You should see Locke one time.
Okay.
That would have totally made my list.
Yeah.
And then Rope is another favorite.
Yeah.
That's not like it's one setting, but it's a much bigger setting. But that actually inspired the filmmaker to make this movie.
Oh, cool.
Now, like I said, interesting experiment. Ryan Reynolds had some talk about how filming the movie. He did it for 16 days in this coffin set.
Wow.
And he said it was just like very claustrophobic, especially certain parts when, let's just say, the coffin structure starts to deteriorate a bit. We'll say that. Mm-hmm. And it gets the space gets smaller and smaller. And I
would go nuts. I'm super claustrophobic.
Yeah, he freaked out a couple times, he said, but it was a hard time filming it. This is one I actually think it's not too heavy. I wasn't satisfied with the way things went.
The ending will stop me from ever watching this again.
Precisely. That's another reason I'm like, I got to the end and I was like, not only worth the journey, but it was a fun journey. Like
it's a great experiment.
Yeah. So if you're interested in that kind of thing in film and seeing how you can create a dynamic story in a very small one setting, watch Buried.
You're such a hipster.
I am.
Wow. I just
I'm proud of you.
I can't get past the one scene in was it the second Kill Bill?
Oh, when she's in the
She just punches away.
Punches away out, yeah.
I can't even handle that, let alone the whole movie.
Yeah.
All right, my third movie is one that you've seen and your brother's seen and your sister's seen and everyone's seen. It's a movie that I really loved the very first time that I saw it and will never watch again. From 2019. It's Avengers Endgame.
This took a turn.
After the devastating events of Avengers Infinity War, the universe is in ruins. With the help of remaining allies, the Avengers assemble once more in order to reverse Thanos' actions and restore balance to the universe.
So would you watch Infinity War again, but not Endgame?
I have watched Infinity War
Zack,
again,
but not Endgame.
It's better.
We already have a Kent. What are you doing?
Endgame, there's two reasons why.
But you liked it. He liked it, though, Ken.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah, it has to be alike.
I enjoyed it. I did. I was emotional at the manipulatively emotional parts. I rolled my eyes at a couple
I am every
things.
Jedi. That scene.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, exactly. I honestly did enjoy it. I was very glad when I saw it. You're part of the zeitgeist, right? You've seen it. You can talk about it. If you've seen it before, you're like, can we talk about the spoilers? All of that stuff. Mm-hmm. It's great. I'm glad I have that experience. I will never watch this movie again.
But why not?
Why? What does it have to offer?
Maybe to tear down all the plot holes in the first hour and a half.
That's the thing. I don't intimately know all of the vast flaws in the time travel, all of the things that it does that it doesn't follow its own rules. I don't have to revisit any of that.
So you're saying, but if you watch Infinity War, you have to watch Endgame.
No, you do not.
The completionist in me.
Nope. I don't like Return of the Jedi that much. I'm just kidding.
Wow, that's a turn.
I'm just kidding.
Let's say
off the show.
Avengers 9 comes out in 4 years, because that's how often they make these movies. And it's like, we're doing a big Marvel rewatch where you rewatch every movie.
I would never do that.
Oh, thank you.
I would.
I would never watch all of them. I would watch.
would.
You would handpick.
I'd handpick a few.
Even I would rewatch all of them.
I have rewatched all of them because I took my kids.
Well, we did for the ranking show as
but
well.
I've literally gone through and we went through from Iron Man to Endgame with my kids, and so I've seen all of them multiple times now.
That's a shame.
Some are better than others, but
Sure.
some aren't as bad as I remembered them to be.
Yeah, they are.
They're all fine. But
I enjoy them.
Like
90% good.
Iron Man 3.
That's part of the 10%.
yeah, I feel like this is a movie that again, you don't need to watch it. You don't need to watch it again. You don't need to watch it multiple times. You do need to watch it for its conclusion, and you get to thank it for all that it did. But I'd rather watch Infinity War. It's a more compelling movie. It's a more interesting movie.
So when
Interesting.
Captain America gets Mjolnir,
Spoiler alert!
really, everyone's seen.
I have more fun seeing the memes of that online than.
But no, you saw that moment and you're like, that was cool.
Oh, it was a full theater. It was the opening weekend. Everybody was cheering. It was really fun.
That's kind of what happened with me with the first Avengers. Like when I saw that screening,
Yeah.
everyone's giving high fives. Like, I can't believe they pulled this off. And I saw it again. I said, that was like every Will Smith movie from the 90s. I wish I never saw that again.
The first Avengers, I didn't see until like a couple weeks later, and everybody told me, "Oh, you're going to love it." And I saw it, and I was like, 40 minutes in, I'm like, this movie's straight up boring.
Oh,
It is.
The
first 40
the
minutes
first
is
part
horrible.
is,
I
but
still enjoy it.
then the end
Joel,
I like it.
stop it.
I like it.
is the end. I mean, it's an all time great for what it is. After a while,
Now it's a
but-
Marvel show that we're doing right
Actually,
now, by the way.
the event, I was going to say the only ones I actually own are Iron Man 1 and the Avengers. Those are the only two I've purchased.
I think I only own Avengers and Thor for some reason.
I only own The Incredible Hulk.
Oh wow,
Well, that
proud.
makes sense.
yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, I feel like Avengers Endgame, again, a movie that I do appreciate. I know a lot of people love. I know a lot of people rewatch, but for me, I'm good.
My next movie, you should
Okay,
laugh.
bring it back down.
Passion of the Christ.
Wow, you went here.
I still haven't seen this one.
I was wondering, we might as well have just said we're going to do the one and done episode brought to you by the Passion of the Christ.
That's
it's,
it.
It's kind of a given.
I still haven't seen it.
Oh,
Because I'm such a visual learner.
So that's where I'm going with this.
And I've heard that there's images in this movie that you cannot get out of your head.
Okay. We don't really go biblical or theological on Baconsale very much.
No. Well, save it for our theological show.
But Passion of the Christ, as the,
Save it for our Bible book ranking show.
there will be a Bible out
Book of Joel.
Come on, 10 Commandments. We can throw in Ben-Hur in there somewhere.
Yeah, that's biblical.
We'll just talk about this again on the Jim Caviezel show.
Which will be a short show. Frequency, Passion of the Christ.
Count of Monte Cristo.
Monte Cristo.
Oh, that's so good.
Yeah.
Save it for our Jim Caviezel show.
Passion of the Christ is a singular theological movie experience directed by Mel Gibson, starring, like we said, Jim Caviezel, Monica Bellucci. This is a movie that when I saw it, I thought, oh, it's the week before Christ's crucifixion. Mm-hmm. Oh, maybe it will show some of the miracles and some of the hard times. This movie is only pain and suffering. Mm-hmm. So much that people really got after Mel Gibson for how much torture he put Christ through in this movie. Because this movie is almost impossible to watch. And Joel, this is why this is probably one of the ones I can't recommend.
For me?
Exactly for the reasons that you mentioned. Because when I saw this movie, sure, I've read the stories in the Bible and I went, man, oh, he went through a lot. Yeah, no, that's awful. And you kind of just read it. You give it whatever visualization you have in your head. But when I saw it, and because I'm a visual learner as well, when I saw the suffering, I went, oh boy, this just became real.
Yeah.
And it hurt. And it made me sick. I was physically ill from what I was seeing. And granted, it's some of the most realistic blood and gore I've seen in a movie.
It's not played for anything other than showing
Suffering.
Suffering, yeah. It's not made for shock factor or anything.
Yeah. And I think the shock factor is maybe saying, hey, everybody, repent out there.
Maybe, yeah. Ooh.
So this one it's a hard R. And Joel, I don't know, there is a redux version of this movie. Mm-hmm. So Mel Gibson obviously came under a lot of fire. By the way, this movie made about $700 million.
Well, it was the number one grossing R-rated
until Deadpool.
Very recently.
Yeah. Isn't
They
that
do have it
crazy?
on Bid Angel. All I have to do is take it out some of the violence.
It's a definite Easter movie, I'll say that.
Yeah.
But it's not a happy
kids.
Easter movie.
Finish up with your basket so we can watch this movie.
So I was saying there is a redux version where he cuts off 5, almost 6 minutes of some of the most intense torture in this movie. And Mel Gibson was going for a PG-13 rating with that. It's still rated, it's unrated actually.
Okay. It's R.
But it's still R because there's so much of this movie that is painful, like literally painful to watch because it feels real. It takes the Bible stories and puts them on the screen.
Ooh.
Yeah, and that's just it. If you ever
You
watch
went
this,
from Borat to Passion of the Christ, Kent. I want to bring that up.
I know.
This is a weird show.
Entertainment Weekly in 2006 said this was #1 most controversial movie of all time. Obviously, Mel Gibson came under a lot of fire. This is what he said about this. He said, "I wanted it to be shocking and I wanted it to be extreme so that they see, the audience, the enormity of the sacrifice to see someone could endure that and still come back with love and forgiveness, even through extreme pain and suffering and ridicule." And so he basically goes on and says, here it is. It's all real. This happened. Man, don't you feel sick?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yay.
Da-da-da-da.
Passion of the Christ.
But don't take my word for it. So, realism, Kent,
Yes.
is what you're going with. I'm going to go with the realistic pick as well, because I'm choosing 2012 Zero Dark 30.
Ooh,
Oh,
good
yeah.
choice. That was on my
So,
honorable mentions.
If you don't know what Zero Dark 30 is, let me give you a synopsis. A chronicle of the decade-long hunt for al-Qaeda terrorist leader Osama bin Laden after the September 2001 attacks and his death at the hands of Navy SEALs in Navy SEAL Team 6 in May of 2011. Directed by Kathleen Bigelow, who did Point Break and The Hurt Locker. She has kind of this wide variety of movies going on here.
Have you seen Hurt Locker more than once?
No.
Hurt Locker is a one and
That'd
done.
be good. That'd be one and
Yeah.
done, too.
Yeah.
So this one is rated R for strong violence and brutal, disturbing images and language. It is on VidAngel and Clearplay DVD, starring Jessica Chastain, Joel Edgerton, Mark Strong, James Gandolfini, Chris Pratt is in this.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
This is more of a popular pick because this was up for an Academy Award nomination.
Best picture, yeah.
The reason I watched it is because, it was nominated, so I was kind of intrigued by it. Let's see what that was. But I also just wanted to get an idea of what the raid was like. I think all of us, to some degree here in America, were invested with how did we get
totally.
this guy?
Yeah.
How did we get him? And I loved how it told the story of like the CIA analyst who was able to look into. It was interesting how boring it was. This movie about SEAL Team 6.
You're right.
Is like about the CIA analyst trying to trace a name that she heard once. And just like, it's kind of fascinating to watch it unfold. And then you do get to see the raid at the end.
It's weird because it should be one of these, well, not it should be, but you see a movie like this and you think it's going to be a raw military sort of movie.
Yeah.
Like a 13 hours
Star-Spangled.
type thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
But it doesn't go that direction at all.
No, and it doesn't get overly political, which I appreciated. They
Right.
reference the current administration, but they don't like bring them into it. Like
Yeah,
this
it
is
doesn't
all
seem
about,
to lean one way.
It's like
or the
everyone
other.
has
Yeah.
a job to do and they're doing it how they see
It's the CIA
fits.
and the Navy SEALs.
Yes.
And now the thing about it is kind of interesting. This movie is not 100% accurate, obviously.
Yeah.
But it was accurate enough that there was an investigation to see if classified documents had been leaked.
Oh.
Nice.
And it turned out, apparently, Catherine Bigelow and the screenwriter, I can't remember his name right now, and I can't see it in my notes immediately, but his last name, Boll. That's all I know, Boal.
Uvable.
No, it's not your Boll. That's a terrible director.
Yes.
But apparently they had been working on kind of this is before Bin Laden had been caught. They were working on the screenplay about trying to find Bin Laden.
Okay.
And then the screenwriter was actually at a award ceremony for the SEAL team, for SEAL Team 6. And one of the presenters, CIA director, he discussed classified information during that meeting, not knowing that the screenwriter was basically taking notes as he was talking
Oh,
about
that's
it.
great.
So that's where they got a lot of it from.
Yeah, Jessica Chastain is great in this movie for her
And
performance alone.
It's such a well done movie, but I
Yes.
was just like, yeah, I've seen it. Now I know, and knowing is half the battle. I'm done.
Well, you're in for a ride just from the very opening when it goes through sort of like, it's like a torture scene at the very beginning, pretty
Yeah.
much.
Yeah.
You're like,
You don't want to watch that again?
no, I'm good.
Yeah.
So yeah, Zero Dark 30 was my choice.
Good choice.
All right. I'm going to kind of carry on with this military theme. And Kent, let me explain myself. From 2017, I'm going with Dunkirk.
What?
Directed by Christopher
I knew
Nolan.
this was going to happen.
Allied soldiers from Belgium, the
I
British
knew
Empire,
that Kent
and
was going to want
France,
to punch Zack in the face.
surrounded by the German army.
What?
And evacuated during a fierce battle in World War II. Okay, here we go.
I had your back on Endgame.
Here we go. I'll tell you why.
I like how it swung so far to the other side now. Kent's like, rah, Zack, you jerk.
You're in
I
trouble.
loved this movie. I had a perfect movie going experience with this movie. I was sitting in luxury seats that I definitely paid for, and it was like sitting in a massage chair for 2 hours. It was compelling.
It's an assault on your
gripping.
senses.
It was amazing, and I just never, for me, I never want to do anything to ruin that experience. It's kind of like what you said with Borat. For me, there was no other
just compared
possible.
Dunkirk to Borat. You're okay with that?
Yeah, I love Borat. Yeah, exactly.
My name is Borat.
No, I have an awesome TV and I have a great sound system, and I still wouldn't. I don't want to do anything to take away that experience I had on the big screen, never having seen it. Pardon my ignorance, I didn't know the story. I didn't know what was going to happen. And so all the things came together to be a fantastic experience in a brilliantly made movie that I never want to watch again. I never want to ruin that.
I saw that one twice in the theater, almost within a week of each other, because the first time I had such a headache because of what was happening in the movie. I was like,
the sound was off on our screening too. Remember?
Oh, yeah, it was.
Yeah.
And I was like,
that would be horrible for
it was
that
like
movie.
the mix was wrong. It was too loud. And the music was too loud.
well, that's just a lot of Nolan movies anyways.
Yeah.
But I was like, oh my gosh, that movie made me so anxious. I got to shake that off. Or was that just what the movie did? And I saw it again. And even though I knew the chain of events, yes, I tried to piece the timeline together a little bit more.
Yeah,
I was still just as stressed the second time around. And that's, for me, how I knew that the movie held up.
Okay. Interesting.
But yeah, great choice.
If it re-released in theaters, I would consider.
That's kind of a
watching it.
Gravity sort of movie.
Yeah.
Where you watch it in the theater and you're like, I'm good.
I never
Although-
saw Gravity because by the time I had the opportunity to see it, it was out of theaters, and I said, there's no point.
For reference, I saw Gravity in theaters, 3D IMAX. It was amazing. One of the best experiences I've had in a theater.
Okay.
Then we were on a flight, and my someone, it wasn't my wife because she'd already seen it. Someone wanted to watch it, and it was just on that little screen. I was like, yeah, I'll watch it too. It was still good on a little
Really?
screen.
That's worst case
It was
scenario.
still good
Is it
on a
because
little
there's
screen.
turbulence?
Yeah.
We might die.
It's like
Yeah.
one of those like 3D rides at the
Yeah.
amusement parks.
Someone just comes by and spits in your face. 4D.
Yeah, I can't imagine Dunkirk would be good on an airplane.
Now, Zach, I will disagree with you on one point.
Okay.
And it's only that my experience wasn't perfect in the theater because I watched it and I was confused. I gave it a second watch when Claire asked me to do a review for it. And I was like, I get it now. And it made the movie better for me.
I had heard going into it that there were different stories happening in different timeline, like different ranges of time. And so I already had that heads up. And so I never had an issue with it. I think if you didn't know that going into it, you might, but
I was just happy to see Harry Styles again. Second time around.
jeez, I don't even know
He
who
doesn't
that
know
is.
he's beautiful.
I don't even know.
Is that them? Is that him?
Yeah, that's him.
Okay.
I think. Or is that Jonas Brothers?
I don't know.
No, One Direction.
Okay. We always
Save
bring
it
up
for
One
the-
Direction. Stop bringing them up on Baconsale.
Save it for the boy band show?
So my next movie
boy bands.
has a very hilarious title. It's from 2007.
No.
It's called Funny Games.
Oh, yeah.
Why'd you guys get so heavy? That's a fun title. Funny games,
funny
guys.
games.
Isn't that the song by Jewel?
That's Foolish Games.
Oh.
These foolish games are tearing me apart.
What's happening to my voice?
Why do we sound like cows?
Doing.
Funny Games came out in 2007. Let me describe this hilarious movie.
No.
Two psychopathic young men take a family hostage in their cabin. That's all. That's all. This is a
Doesn't
shot.
sound very funny.
This, it's not. This is a shot-for-shot remake by director Michael Haneke. He actually directed the original Austrian movie, which came out in 1997.
Oh, Austrian.
Yeah.
Known for their uplifting cinema.
Sure. And he was like, you know what? I've depressed my entire country. It's the Americans' turn. And so he made this movie that one of the brothers is played by Michael Pitt. And you've seen him play a psychopath in a couple other movies. The parents are Naomi Watts and Tim Roth in this movie. Mm-hmm. And if you've seen the cover, it looks like Naomi Watts is in pain.
Yeah, she's crying.
That's really all you need to see because that is this movie. Tim Roth has said that making this film abused him and he'll never watch it. He said...
And you're recommending this.
No. I said only one of my movies I'd recommend.
Okay.
And so far, I haven't even talked about... I wouldn't recommend anything I've said so far.
You would recommend Borat?
Funny, I wouldn't either.
Like Borat, I'd recommend if it's like late at night and you have a bunch of buddies you want to watch a dumb movie with. Maybe in that scenario.
Yeah.
Funny Games is the one I'd recommend the least because I love horror. Joel loves horror. Zach, where are you at on scary movies?
No, thank you.
We're going to teach you.
I know.
We are going to teach you.
I like wholesome things.
But you'll never watch Funny Games.
What movies have you brought up? 7? What else? Wholesome things? What are we talking about?
Joel, I never want you to watch this movie.
I don't want to watch this movie.
In fact, I'm kind of going to ruin it for you right now.
I already know what happens.
You do?
Yeah.
Okay, because this
Curse
movie...
my curiosity.
This movie hurt me more than most because they don't follow the rules of horror. Basically, two guys that are dressed in like tennis clothes, looking really preppy, come in and ask to borrow some butter. And a family says, sure, come on in. And by the way, it's a nice like lake retreat. And they're held hostage. And just when you think like someone's going to get away, the kid got away or something, things always go poorly. This movie wants to take away all hope. And not just hope for the characters, but hope from film tropes that you're comfortable with. There's no soundtrack or score here. There's only an opening song and a closing song. And so that when things...
An opening prayer and a closing prayer.
Well, that you pray a lot during this movie. When things go silent in this movie, your heart hurts because you know someone was probably just silenced or a dog got it or whatnot. I like when I said people can die. Fine. Dogs?
No, I said to both.
There was a louder O for the dog.
There was.
It was just building.
Here's the thing. There's no violence. Well, there's some minor terrorism, and I don't mean the Zero Dark 30 terrorism, but a family is being terrorized. That's happening, but there's no violence on screen, or it's very, very minimal. But you still feel cruddy. And it's weird.
And you like this.
I did like it. There's a moment. Okay, I'm going to ruin the big moment in the movie, but I won't say what exactly happens. But when one heroic character finally gets the upper hand, and you're like, yes, this movie's about to turn around, and it's like Last House on the Left. It's like every horror film.
Another uplifting film.
Right. But finally, when these characters get revenge, and the good guys win, and you're like, yes, they have the upper hand, and one of the bad guys grabs a DVD remote or VHS remote and hits rewind. He hits rewind in the movie, and the movie rewinds.
Like breaking the fourth wall?
Yep, he breaks the fourth wall a few times in this movie. And it rewinds, and he moves the gun. So the good guys never got the upper hand. And I went, you're kidding me. You just took away my one happy moment in this movie. With the way it's played, it feels gross. It feels like you're eavesdropping into the scene. And when they break the fourth wall, you're like, don't you bring me into this movie. I don't want to be part of this at all. This is gross. And the whole thing is grim. And this is a horror film that needs to be seen by true horror fans.
Hey, you just said I shouldn't see it. Then you say true horror fans.
I don't want you to, Joel. Yes, maybe you should see it someday. I don't want you to.
I've read the synopsis.
I like your soul.
I saw the trailer. I was good.
My soul has been working out. So,
but funny games. It's very well crafted, but man, it hurts, and I'll never watch it again.
Okay.
Whew.
I was hoping we continue with the political theme.
Sure.
Because I'm choosing what I believe to be the oldest film on any of our lists.
Okay.
I'm going in the 1970 Patton.
Oh, yeah.
Patton.
Absolutely.
Can you watch this whole movie?
So it's a long movie. I mean, it's not as long as Endgame. It's only 170 minutes, so it's almost 3 hours.
Joel,
not
it's
at 3 hours.
way longer than Endgame.
So the World War II phase of the career of the controversial American general George S. Patton, directed by Franklin J. Schaffner, who did Planet of the Apes, actually.
Oh, really?
Oh.
Okay.
This is rated PG, mostly just mild language and some war talk and some war moments, but
Not a lot of bodies dropping in this movie?
No, it's mostly Darkest Hour type stuff where it's like the planning of the war rather than the war itself. This is not a Saving Private Ryan running through the trenches kind of thing.
Right.
This is just speeches and there are some moments, but anyway. Starring George C. Scott, and that's really all you need to know, who actually won the Academy Award for this movie and refused to accept it. He is the first person in history to refuse the reward, and he warned them before because he actually had done it before, where he got a nomination and he refused it. He got nominated again. He's like, I'm not going to accept this award because I feel like he feels like every dramatic performance was unique and cannot be compared to others, and the whole Academy Award is just a meat market, and he was not going to be participating in it. So then he won, and he didn't accept the award.
Does he just hate the Academy, or is he just...
He didn't like the system. Wow. He didn't like the system of the Academy saying what was good and what wasn't. It's a 3-hour movie, but it doesn't feel like a 3-hour movie, which is saying something. I did not know much about General Patton going into this movie. And like I said, I'm a visual learner. And so I really did enjoy watching this man who I didn't know anything about and like, oh, okay, I see why people talk about him so much. I see why he was revered and hated.
It's definitely fictionalized.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, yeah. But they actually didn't get permission from the family to get memoirs and stuff like that. So they had to use a book for their reference that was a biography of him. but it's really kind of well done in the way that they portray him as both super competent and also reckless. Like, it's this fine line you walk of like, do I trust him? Do I not trust him?
Right.
But he got the job done. And then, even though he didn't do it the right way, and then he said some things that got him in trouble, just offhanded comments. So it was just very interesting to watch, I thought. I actually might agree with the Academy for winning the Best Picture that year, 1970.
Yeah, we watched this when we watched every single Best Picture winner, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's when
Had
I
you
watched
seen it
it.
before then?
No.
Okay.
No, and so I was like, this is when I got done. I'm like, I'm glad I watched that. Probably never watch it
Same.
again,
Totally
but I'm glad
same.
I watched it. Very well done. And music by Jerry Goldsmith as well, who's also
nice.
a great composer.
Yeah.
So,
I have fallen asleep to this movie several times when my father was watching it.
well, the opening scene is like General Patton standing in front of
the
the American
scene.
flag giving a speech. And
Yeah.
George
Powerful.
It is. And George C. Scott didn't want that at the beginning because he said, if you put that there, it'll overshadow the rest of my performance. And indeed it has. That's really
true.
the,
That's the
thing
lasting
to
imagery.
watch. That's the last thing that Zack sees before he falls asleep.
Every day.
Every day?
Every day.
You're like, I'm so tired. Should I take some melatonin? Nope. Patton intro.
Gone.
All right. So we're down to our final choice. Yes,
Okay.
gentlemen?
It is my goal to alienate everybody who I might have maybe won over the last couple weeks.
So you've already alienated Joel and
Joel,
myself
you,
in this show.
and just everybody listening. Okay, you listener, please don't hate me. Again, similar.
But you liked this movie.
I liked this movie. This is very good. My choice is from 2010, Toy Story 3.
So you just jump right to 4. You go 1, 2, 4.
4 is the natural conclusion, clearly.
Apparently.
I really was glad I saw Toy Story 3. I was glad of the conclusion. I think it's a pretty manipulative movie, and I don't care to watch it again, but I'm very glad I saw it. I think there are lots of good things about it.
Zach, this was the end, the perfect end to that trilogy. Were you saying you'd ended it too?
No. He's saying it was the perfect end. So he'll never want to repeat that
I would
experience.
rather,
But would you watch 1 and 2 again?
yes,
But not
I would
3?
rather watch 4. If they were sitting on my shelf right now and I had to pull a Blu-ray off to watch it, I would pull 4 before I'd pull 3.
Why?
Because I had fun
So-
watching 4 and I don't really care about it.
I'm back on your side.
Okay.
Because I don't think this movie is all that good until the end.
He likes it. He's
No.
not bashing on these movies.
I know, I'm so confused
I
right
actually I'm okay on it.
No,
I
but
liked the experience of watching
it
it. I'm
becomes
glad I
It's a
saw
beautiful, amazing movie, and you have no soul. Either one of you.
Buzz Lightyear in Spanish is beautiful and amazing.
now. It becomes
Yes.
it becomes perfect closure. And we've all talked about this.
Jambalaya.
It makes the trilogy before Kingdom of the Crystal Skull came out. It makes the trilogy great. But it's the same story, which I'd rather see in 1 or 2, quite clearly.
Yeah.
But it has the great ending, which is too emotional.
1, 3, 2. That's my order.
Okay.
2 is my favorite.
And I get
Two's my
that,
least
but do
favorite.
you want to cry all the time?
4 doesn't count.
But you watch this movie, you know you're going to cry. Wouldn't you rather just enjoy yourself with like 1, for
No.
example, or 2?
I love 3.
Ready,
I
ready.
really do enjoy 3.
I go 2, 4, 1, 3.
What?
Opinions on Baconsale.
Gosh, what is happening right
I don't know.
I know. Here's
now?
my
You're getting locked back in the Baconsale closet. You know that, right?
I just got out. No, this is when
You're saying it's good.
That's my that's my watchability rank list. Good quality, whatever. You can say this is an amazing movie. There was a podcast that I listened to once upon a time, and I can't remember it for the life of me.
Baconsale.
That said, oh, that's right. That said, this is before 4 came out, obviously, but they said, 2 is better than 1, 3 is better than 2, but both of the sequels are unnecessary. And I kind of feel that. Like, they're just kind of rehashing the same thing, but you do get your emotional closure
It's a children's movie, right?
from the first movie.
But even in the last episode, in many episodes, Joel, you've talked about the tropes that many movies follow, where it's the same story again and again.
It's a children's movie.
Yes.
You both realize it's
is
a
it
children's
though?
movie.
Is it though?
Yes. It's about toys. It's an animated film about toys
Yeah,
that
you
come to
remember
life.
that awesome children's part where they're all about to be incinerated?
Yes.
Yeah, that was
Children
great.
need to understand what happens when they throw away their toys.
I wish that were the ending.
Yeah.
Yeah, I bet you would.
I would watch that repeatedly.
Get your souls in check, both of you.
I haven't been working out.
I personally feel like it was plenty, and I'm good, and I move on. But I don't need to watch that movie again.
Bizarre. I don't know how to feel right now.
Yeah,
I thought you were the Pixar guy.
I am not.
Apparently, Zach doesn't like Disney.
Coco's the best. I watched Coco.
He didn't
just
really like
yesterday.
Up all that much.
Coco?
I watched Coco yesterday. It's the best.
Mediocre.
So good. Joe's racist.
What? No, you can't.
I just listened to the Coco soundtrack yesterday.
It's great.
But I don't think Remember Me should have won Best Original Song.
No,
I agree with you.
Okay.
because I don't remember it.
Save it for our Coco show.
Are we having a Coco show?
Oh,
Yeah.
Book of
We're
Life
going to
did it
drink
better.
Coco while talking about Coco.
Nope.
And listening to
Nope.
Coco Cabana.
Nope. And snorting Coco.
I said drinking Coco, you
There's
heathen.
another
family
Coco.
friendly.
So, speaking of story from your title, my title also has story in it.
Is it end beginning with love?
No.
Love story from 1970s.
No.
Never means having to say.
I actually haven't even seen a love story.
Where do I
Love story.
begin?
I haven't seen it either.
Mine is from 2017, and it's a ghost story.
Oh yeah, with
Oh.
the sheet and the
Casey
experimental.
Affleck.
Yeah,
I thought you were going
in
to
a
say
sheet.
Marriage Story.
That's a good choice.
Marriage
Ken.
Story is an honorable mention.
Okay.
You're not going to watch that one again? Marriage Story?
I don't know if I will. It hurt.
I bet.
Yeah. So, a ghost story, though, in this singular exploration of legacy, love, loss, and the enormity of existence, a recently deceased white-sheeted ghost returns to a suburban home to try to reconnect with his bereft wife. Directed by David Lowery, who did Ain't Them Body Saints and Pete's Dragon,
The new
remake.
Pete's Dragon.
Yes. Starring Casey Affleck as C, Rooney Mara as M. Those are their character names in the
Wait,
movie.
they're the Men in Black?
Yes. Men in White, actually.
Zing!
So this is such a Sundance movie, almost handcrafted for Sundance, handcrafted for film critics.
If Terrence Malick directed a horror film.
Kind of, yeah. But I feel like
That's geek level right there.
it's such a boring movie with weird off pacing and then becomes so interesting.
Boringly beautiful.
Boringly beautiful, yes. Although the scene that is talked about the most is the pie scene. There is a scene where
No,
Rooney
that's
Mara
from The Help.
Yeah,
There's a one and done.
save it for the pie show. There is a scene where Rooney Mara is a grieving wife and she eats a full pie for almost 9 minutes.
You just
and
watch
it
her eat
shows
it.
the entire thing, and it's like a devastating scene where
She's
she's in
grieving.
the pit of misery, and he, as a guy wearing a white sheet like it's Beetlejuice, is just watching her eat.
And she
this
can't
pie.
see him.
In fact, the first 45 minutes are him. Well, he's there for 12 minutes as Casey Affleck. And then for the first half of the movie, he's hanging out with her. And then she finally moves on. And then the second half of the movie, it's more about him being stuck in his home because he's not attached to his wife. He's stuck in his home. And that's why the director made it. He said, we often get stuck in physical places. Like if you ever moved away from home and you get sad, even though it's just a place and your life will continue, you get sad about a singular location.
True.
And that's what happens to C in this movie. And so then it starts jumping through decades, kind of like he goes into the future and then back into the past. And he relives.
It's like AI almost, it feels like at that point.
It's like AI, but
In a
told
good
quickly.
way. In a good way.
Because the movie's only 92 minutes.
Yeah.
One and done.
Yeah, and so the movie actually like briskly shows you him affecting his own timeline. Like in fact, there's a scene where he is still alive and he and his wife hear noises from the kitchen, and it may have been him in this timeline. It's because
That's
ghosts,
why you like it, because it's like Interstellar.
it's like Interstellar, but meant to be kind of dismal. It just feels like a big private moment that you feel wrong for watching. Because even though it's silly, he's in a white sheet. It's a very personal movie. He's not even talking for most.
No,
of the movie.
that's the thing. People were like, why was Casey Affleck in this movie? He was covered by a white sheet the entire time.
Yeah, but the experiment works so well, and it's a short movie, but it feels fulfilling. But
Doesn't
so
feel
fulfilling.
short.
Yeah, well, you're right, because the pacing is so weird. It dwells.
Yeah.
But it was so fulfilling that I kind of just backed away and said, okay, I've experienced a very cool movie. I'll never watch you again. So yeah,
I think it's
Ghost,
a good
Ghost
choice.
Story.
That's a very good choice.
That's the one I
Much
recommend,
better
by
than
the way.
Zach's.
A Ghost Story is better than Toy Story 3, you're right.
No.
Oh, no.
So my last pick is another film experiment, and I would say it would tick off Kent, but I think he might agree with me.
Okay, I'm interested.
Directed by Richard Linklater.
I
It's
totally agree with
Boyhood.
you.
Boyhood.
Yeah.
2014 Boyhood.
Sure.
Why did I buy this movie?
You bought this movie?
I bought it, and guess what? Still in the packaging.
You gonna watch it?
Yeah, I was going to say, it's one and done.
Yeah.
So if you don't know, the synopsis is the life of Mason, a boy, from early childhood to his arrival at college. which sounds like a simple story. And it is.
It is.
A very simple slice of life. Let's watch what's happening story. But the cool thing about this movie is that Richard Linklater literally filmed for 12 years.
Yes.
They would get together annually with the same cast and just kind of film a couple scenes together. And so you literally
Slice of life, the movie.
Filmmaking usually is done within months. And if you're going to do someone older, then hey, we're going to get an older actor to play the younger actor.
Mm-hmm.
This is the same kid, and you get to see him grow up from, what was it, like, is he 12 when he starts?
No, I think he's 6.
Is he that young?
Yeah, 'cause he
12
goes to
years.
college.
Yeah, that's right. He ends with him going to college, so he has to start that young. So at the beginning, he's talking about Star Wars and stuff like that, and then he's, in the middle, he's talking about like girls and things like that, and then growing up. And so it's a fascinating experience in filmmaking.
It's a beautiful movie.
And then you watch it, you're like, that is so well done, and the way they put it together, it feels so relatable and so real. In parts, other parts, I was like, I don't really relate to the kid here, but the story is not one that I want to watch again and again, because it literally is, hey, his mom's going through a divorce and then they go live somewhere else.
Right.
And that's the extent of the
And he
drama.
becomes a teenager and goes to parties, and life is hard for a
It
little
literally, I'm going to spoil the ending a little bit here, but it literally ends with him just kind of hanging out and talking.
Yeah.
And then the movie just kind of ends.
I felt like I saw something incredible, and I still think it's incredible.
It is.
So incredible that when the Blu-ray came out, I bought it day one.
Which is so funny to me. You bought this movie.
Yeah, because I was like, I can't wait to experience this on a big TV. But why?
Why?
Yeah.
That's the why there. This is rated R, by the way, for language and sexual references, teen, drug, and alcohol use. Pretty mild, though. It's a mild R, but you can find it on ClearPlay DVD and Blu-ray. They have it both edited versions. Pretty easy to edit out. But why I won't watch it again is who wants to relive their awkward teenage years? I mean, that's really, I don't want to do that. But
We talk about it a lot in the show.
we do. But this production began in 2001, finished in 2013. This movie came out in 2014. It was nominated for an Academy Award. Didn't win. What won that year?
Birdman.
That's right. Another experimental film.
Yes.
So it was, good year for experimental films, but Boyhood was one I think people should watch it, should experience it to see how it's kind of cool to see the actor grow up in front of your eyes.
Totally.
Like it's like a time lapse or time capsule or something like that.
Definitely see this once.
And then you're good.
Yes.
So there you go.
Okay.
There's our list. I think we started, what did we start with? 7 and we ended with Boyhood.
Okay, good.
Borat was in there
Wow.
somewhere. So Toy Story.
Went a little biblical in
Some
there.
popular choices
This
myself.
was a unique show. We hope you enjoyed it, though. We hope this isn't just a one and done episode for you. But let us know what movies you watched once and enjoyed. That's
Yes.
the caveat here. This isn't like I never want to see it again because I hated it. Movies you watched, enjoyed, but don't want to watch again for whatever reason. We've given a couple reasons here. Maybe it's too long. Maybe it's too dark.
Maybe it's too disturbing.
Maybe it's a perfect experience and you don't want to have to ruin that.
Yeah.
Like Zack with Toy Story 3. That was that one, right?
Dunkirk was my perfect experience.
Oh, my mistake.
Borat was
Story-
mine, apparently.
But let us...
Toy Story 3 was my
But let us know on Facebook, let us know on Twitter, let us know on Instagram. We want to hear from you because we love hearing from you, the listener.
All right, before we go, we'd like to thank a few people. So from the I Am the Listener category, we actually have a new I Am the Listener.
Hey.
What? Alicia Bass.
Hi, Alicia.
Has joined the
Nice.
ranks of I Am the Listener. Alicia,
She
thank you
upgraded
so
to
much.
listener. Nice. Thank you.
Yeah.
Also, we have Just Kyler now, Sean Sandquist, Jennifer Kilkowski, Colton Cook, Chris Strout, Braden Winterton, Crew Dutler, Terry Finley, Stephen Ross, and Adrian Gray.
Thank you. Thank you.
And also from the Bacon Council, we have Nicole D. Hale, Chris Anderson, Ryan Farron, and Reverse Listener.
Thank you so
Thank you,
much.
everyone. We really appreciate you.
So cool.
But if you want to find me, you can find me at 786Joel on Twitter. You can find me performing with Quickwits. They perform online these days at Facebook Live, so watch for that. Check out the Quickwits Facebook page.
If you want to find me on Twitter or Instagram, it's at Kenny3DD. If you want to read my movie reviews, hopefully there's some movies in July, ShowtimeShowdown.com.
And if you want to connect with me, I am on the social medias as Tumbling Mustard. Feel free to reach out to me. And more importantly, reach out to Baconsale. Make sure you're following Baconsale on all of your social media platforms, such as Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Also, make sure you visit tpublic.com/Baconsale to get yourself some sweet Baconsale apparel to wear as soon as you can go out in public comfortably again. And then, of course, if you want to join in on the fun, you can always go to patreon.com/Baconsale and become a patron. Support starts at just $3 a month, where you can listen to all sorts of special Bacon bits that have been all sorts of various topics.
The extra episodes. We just spent last episode mostly discussing Clone Wars. For
and
example.
Twilight
How we got on
somehow.
Star Wars.
How did we get on Twilight?
Twilight?
Again.
Once again, that's patreon.com/Baconsale.
So until next time, What's in the box? Happy feet for life.
How many times
Thank
Kent's
you.
heard that?
A lot.
Every time he kisses a girl.
Not a lot lately, then.
Sorry, I'm knocking over my laptop. Bacon bit.
I've seen this movie and I can handle it, but I'm not sure the general public could.
It gives me the little creepy crawlies, and I'm like, I'm good.
Oh no. This is not how I expected BYU to be. Huh.
Dad.
Stop.
Scott.
It's your thing, Zach. It's okay.
It's good. I gotta have a thing.
Your thing is being bad at sound checks.
Aw.
No, Zach, you're doing great.
Thank you.
Can't, how long is he going to be on the show? Get on the show. And it's in Spanish. That's why I won't watch it again.
Wait,
Okay.
wait for the rest of my list.
I've got to rewind it. I did not know this episode was going to get so dark so quick.
Wow.
We're going to continue too.
I have a doubt.
I doubt it.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for the dead
Trying
jokes.
to bring levity.
Lighten the mood.
Levity.
Oh my gosh.
You don't want to take your perfect experience with Borat.
So I don't want to age out of Borat.
Bill is
You're a
the
hipster.
hipster of Baconsale.
You're such a hipster.
Wow. I just
I'm proud of you. We already have a Kent. What are you doing?
Book of Joel. Chronicle of the decade-long hunt for Al-Qaeda. Hunk? I don't want to say hunk. Let me try that again. Yeah. Like, rah, rah, Zach, you jerk. My voice.
Why do we sound like cows?
Oh, Austrian.
Yeah.
They're uplifting cinema.
I've depressed my entire country. It's the Americans' turn.
I like wholesome things.
But you'll never watch funny games.
What movies have you brought up? 7? What else? Wholesome things? What are we talking about?
I like your soul.
I saw the trailer. I was good.
My soul has been working out.
Saw
Beautiful, amazing movie, and you have no soul. Get your souls in check, both of you.
Oh, pre-show tinkle.
Pre-show tinkle.
I realize I just need to accept the darkness inside.
Pre-show sitting awkwardly.